Would you be willing to pay the price of freedom if it means being disliked by others? Welcome to Inspire Reads, where we explore comprehensive self-development through amazing books. Today, we'll delve into the book The Courage to be Disliked by Kishimi, Ichiro, and Koga Fumitake. The Courage to be Disliked is not just a typical self-help book. It is a profound philosophical journey, written in the form of a dialogue between a young man and a philosopher, reminiscent of Socrates and Plato. Though it is accessible, it contains arguments and enlightening lessons that may not be easily grasped on a first read. You might feel a sense of awakening while reading the book, but can you truly apply these lessons to your life? Today, on Inspire Reads, we'll explore the core insights of this book and help you understand true freedom and happiness. Don't miss the chance to gain a deeper understanding of yourself through these inspiring pages. Hi, I'm Benjamin. Don't forget to follow the great books in the description. Today on Inspire Reads, we'll dive deeper into the book The Courage to be Disliked and uncover its core insights. You'll discover the secrets to understanding your inner self and gain clarity on what true freedom and happiness really mean. To fully extract the value of this book, I recommend reading it at least twice. On your first read, focus on the viewpoints presented in each chapter and identify the unique points. When you read it again, you'll find that the smaller ideas connect in a coherent and complete manner, revealing that the central idea of the book, that the world is actually quite simple and you can achieve happiness at any time, was highlighted right from the introduction. The book presents 4 key points to support this perspective. Let's explore these crucial points to understand the courage it takes to be disliked and how to achieve true happiness in the present moment. Instead of just exploring the causes of suffering, shift your focus to finding its purpose and meaning. You might be familiar with Freud, one of the most renowned psychologists. Freud proposed the theory of psychological trauma, which suggests that we often analyze our behavior by looking back at the past to find causes. However, if you focus solely on past causes and try to explain everything that way, you might get stuck in an endless loop. The book tells the story of a person who was abused and mistreated by their parents during childhood. As a result, they spent many years staying indoors, feeling terrified of going outside, with a racing heart and trembling limbs. This trauma made it impossible for them to live normally, even though they wanted to go out, work, and contribute to society. The psychological wounds from their past have impacted their present life. According to Freud, every result stems from past causes. So, is it normal and reasonable for someone who was abused by their parents to suffer psychological issues? Or is there something unusual about the fact that not everyone with past trauma experiences psychological problems? To address this dilemma, the book relies on Adler's theory, which posits that the past does not dictate your future. Instead, what matters is how you live in the present and the purpose behind your actions. If you often procrastinate and avoid challenges, it's because you're choosing this way to temporarily escape stress and the fear of failure. If you find yourself getting angry and yelling at loved ones, it may be because you're trying to force them to give in and admit fault. And if you feel increasingly closed off, avoiding social interactions, it's because you're choosing this approach to alleviate feelings of insecurity and anxiety. If you understand the real reasons behind each of your actions, you'll be able to recognize how fear or self-esteem issues are affecting you in the present. In other words, knowing the purpose behind your actions is the key to changing your life. Focusing solely on the causes will not lead to progress. Adler states that what matters is not the experiences you've had, but the meaning you attach to those experiences. This does not mean you should deny the painful events of the past, but rather that despite those experiences, they do not determine everything. The meaning you assign to new experiences truly shapes your life. Your life is not given to you by others, it is chosen by you. While you cannot choose where you were born, the era you live in, or your parents, factors that do have a significant impact, If you only analyze causes without changing your perspective, you might feel dissatisfied, inferior, and blame circumstances. To change yourself, you need to start from the present. Instead of dwelling on the past, focus on the purpose behind your actions. The pain and difficulties you're experiencing are determined by your choices. Your present and future depend on how you act now, not on what happened in the past or the influence of others. Choose to understand and love yourself more, rather than just reflecting on what has been. As Adler said, understanding yourself is the first step toward change. In summary, no matter what has happened in the past, the meaning you attach to it is what truly matters, as it shapes your current state. Past events do not influence your life going forward. Remember, whether you choose to suffer or be happy depends entirely on your choices and intentions right now. Once you face the pain in the present, you need to find ways to overcome worries and unhappiness in your life. The character in the book is seeking an answer to this question: how can one escape pain and find peace in life? He continues his search for the philosopher and receives a profound insight. Suffering often stems from relationships. According to Adler's philosophy, since humans cannot live alone, we must find ways to build harmonious relationships with others. Each person's life revolves around three main issues: work, friendships, and love. Suffering and pain in relationships often arise because you haven't clearly defined your boundaries. Either others are intruding into your life, or you are intruding into theirs. This breaks personal boundaries, but why are boundaries so important? To be happier in your relationships, you need to understand and protect your personal boundaries. Have you heard of the Roche limit? It's the closest distance two celestial bodies can approach each other without one being torn apart. For instance, the distance between Earth and the Moon is about 384,400 km. If the Moon came closer to Earth than this limit, it would break into pieces. Similarly, in relationships, especially in love, pain and suffering, often arise for those who sacrifice too much to please others, or those who are easily criticized and controlled. The result is usually exhaustion or losing oneself, which diminishes one's motivation to live. If you are struggling and suffering in love, friendship, or other relationships, it might be the universe's way of telling you it's time to learn to love yourself. To do this, you need to maintain appropriate boundaries and not cross them in your relationships. Just as the philosopher advised the young man, recognizing and fulfilling your own tasks will make your life simpler from now on. From now on, focus on loving yourself and avoid interfering in others' affairs. Everything and everyone around you is beyond your control. Trying to change or meddle in others' tasks will only cause you more pain. If your mother-in-law complains, that's her task. If your partner is distant, that's their issue. If your friends don't like you, that's their choice. Your task is to direct your attention to self-development and not let your emotions cross the boundaries between individuals. One of the most valuable things in life is, I have the right to choose. You have the power to choose how you react to pain. When you refrain from interfering and maintain distance, things will flow more harmoniously, and you will feel happier. As Zhuangzi said, the person who gives up control of their life is the one who masters their own destiny. We often think that abandoning others' expectations and not interfering in the affairs of loved ones might be seen as selfish and could make you disliked. The book Daring to Be Disliked is named for this very reason. However, in reality, when you set boundaries and love yourself, you not only protect yourself but also attract more love and respect from others. So, have the courage to accept any dislike, as it is the first step toward freedom and happiness. The first crucial step is to let go of competition. As the saying goes, where there is comparison, there is suffering. The young man in the story experienced most of his suffering from comparing himself to others. From a young age, he was constantly compared to his older brother by his parents, making him feel like a failure. However, it's important to understand that the harder we cling to something, the more difficult it is to let go. The competitive mindset has become deeply ingrained in our culture, leading us to believe that without competition we cannot make progress. Many children are encouraged to become leaders or top performers from a young age, and society often promotes competition as an essential part of life. The philosopher points out that competition is not necessary for a fulfilling life. In reality, competition creates clear divisions between winners and losers, leading to ongoing hostility and anxiety about what is gained and lost. This turns happiness into an elusive illusion, always out of reach and fragile. There is an alternative path you can choose: let go of competition. Instead of feeling inferior when you see others succeed, genuinely rejoice for them. When engaging in discussions, stand by your own views, but also respect others' opinions. By abandoning the desire for competition, you will avoid interference from others and cease to be caught up in pointless battles. When you stop being obsessed with comparison and winning, you will no longer torment yourself or chase after fleeting victories. Additionally, rejecting manipulation and control is key to maintaining healthy relationships. People who fail to distinguish their own tasks from those of others often place too much emphasis on others' opinions. Like the young man in the story, when you try to meet others' expectations, you are using your behavior to control and attract their attention. In relationships, there's a common form of manipulation that doesn't benefit anyone, but only burdens ourselves. We often see this in marriages where one partner demands sacrifices from the other in the name of love. "If you truly loved me, you wouldn't do that," or "I've done so much, why don't you love me more?" Such interfering actions usually stem from a lack of trust and a desire to control, leading to tension, suspicion, and eventually, possible separation. In parent-child relationships, this issue also arises when parents use their sacrifices as leverage to demand from their children without respecting their wishes. For example, "We've worked hard to support your education. Why don't you listen to us?" This type of interference creates a burden in the relationship and doesn't genuinely improve the situation. Another reason is the belief that one's own experiences are more valuable and therefore others should follow their advice. Parents often say, "We've been through everything you're going through, so don't argue with us." Criticism, judgment, or controlling behavior indicates an imbalance in the relationship. According to Adler, society often maintains hierarchical relationships, meaning there's a power structure between individuals. While reward and punishment methods can modify children's behavior, they essentially represent invisible control. As children grow up, they might continue living to please others rather than listening to themselves. Someone accustomed to hierarchical relationships might apply this mindset to all other relationships. They may feel inferior when facing someone stronger and become controlling when dealing with someone weaker. In the classic book I previously introduced, What is the Meaning of Life? By Adler, the author deeply explores human inferiority and superiority. Adler divides inferiority into two types: healthy and unhealthy. Healthy inferiority drives people to strive and improve themselves. However, when comparing oneself to others starts to dominate, it's easy to fall into unhealthy inferiority complexes, making self-improvement difficult and keeping one from stepping out of their comfort zone. Adler advises us to shift from hierarchical relationships based on reward and punishment to horizontal relationships founded on equality, gratitude, and encouragement. To maintain balance in relationships, replace criticism with genuine praise and substitute blame with encouragement for positive change. At the end of today's video, I want to pose a significant question. Once you realize that change is necessary, how do you find the courage to make it? Where does the courage to change come from? It stems from a sense of community. Adler points out that personal relationships are the source of both pain and happiness as well as courage. To achieve the bravery needed for change and seek happiness, we must aim for a final goal in relationship building, a sense of community. This means viewing others as equal partners and feeling part of a larger collective. It involves transforming personal preoccupations into genuine concern for others, creating a harmonious integration. The philosopher divides the process of building a sense of community into 3 main steps. The first step is to accept yourself. This involves acknowledging and accepting your imperfections, recognizing that we are a composite of contradictions, a blend of positive and negative traits. As expressed in the book The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, embrace the dark sides of yourself. This is the key here. When you accept your true self completely, you will see the purpose behind each of your actions and distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. You will no longer worry about or interfere with other people's issues and instead focus on your own heart. Trusting others unconditionally and viewing them as friends and equal partners is the next crucial step in the journey to finding happiness. Abandon the perspective of superiority and build equal relationships with those around you. Contributing and giving to others is also a philosophy that wise individuals always encourage, as it is a way to truly feel fulfilled and happy. This book has a well-structured logic, asserting that happiness is always a gift of the present. In this world, avoiding being disliked by others is actually very simple. You just need to stop being dishonest, compromising, and giving up. However, seeking recognition from others can undermine your own freedom. Adler emphasizes that we need the courage to follow our own path, even knowing that we might be disliked. Be brave enough to do this, as it is the only way you can find happiness in the present moment and at any time. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future videos. See you in the next video.